Hey, howdy, welcome. I tell you what, it's not a smiling day. If you're a bowler, if you're a bowler in 2020 cricket, man, you are taking an absolute pounding. It's absolutely crazy. What am I talking about? What's on my mind? It's this LSG score, man. Lucknow Super Giants, 257 for 5 up at Mohali. That is incredible. And it reminds me, actually, it's not so long ago I was doing an international game. It was South Africa against the West Indies. And hey, guess what? Kyle Mayers was there as well. This time, no, or that time, I should say, he was on the receiving end. He played something similar, an innings similar to what he did in that LSG and Punjab Kings game. And Johnson Charles got 100, magnificent 100, a quick fire 100, 250 or something ridiculous was his strike rate. And they got 258 in their 20 overs. And if ever there was a time you sort of looked at a pitch and said, never mind, 258, it's probably gettable. And South Africa got it. Quinton de Kock, who is in that Lucknow Super Giants side, but sitting on the sidelines and having to make do with watching as his side goes along. Well, because he arrived late and the other guys have been going pretty well, and probably Kyle Mayers is who sits in his spot. You might argue and say maybe it's Puran who's kind of directly in his spot because Puran keeps wicket, but they've got a plethora of hitters and guys who can take the game away from you. So that's why they're quite a good sight to watch when they're going. What I think in terms of their win here, setter score wasn't chased down. The South Africa game that I'm referring to, South Africa chased down 258. So that's a record chase in internationals. Magnificent and tough day for the bowlers again on that day. At Mohali, tough day for the bowlers because in trying to chase it, Punjab Kings got to 201. They were bowled out in the end with one ball to spare or something. But that's a lot of runs, man. That's a lot of runs on any given day. I think, though, that the needle has shifted. I think at the beginning of the tournament, the question was, yeah, there'll be higher scores, and so what do you do? Do you bat first? Do you bowl first? Difficult to set a score. You'd rather be, fielding first, and then you can chase down whatever's put on the board because people can hit sixes and all the rest. But now that the handbrake is off for all the batters, I think it's now a difficult scenario for bowlers. Without anything going on, blank canvas, the batters are now quite happy to take the aggressive option. They're quite happy to go really hard because they have a lot of resources. They have the impact play available to them. And if the conditions are pretty good, then expect that they'll be going at you and they'll be going on. Still, though, in the IPL, teams are choosing to field first. And they're finding that they're under way too much pressure second time around to try and chase down the score. So perhaps, and this is my thinking, the time has come that you try and win the game with bat in hand, up at the front with the blank canvas. So use the scoreboard as the pressure for the other team, and essentially it's to say, here we are, we're going to exhibit our power hitting, and we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to try and put a better than par score on the board and say, right, seeing as you've asked us to bat, then now away you go. Let's see if you can get that. And I think more often than not, if you actually go out and do that, and LSG recognize that they can now, then it's going to be difficult for the team batting second. The bowlers also have some sort of ballpark figure which they have to work with, which they can work with, and so they're defending something in essence, and they've got a framework to work with. Whereas when you're bowling the first time around, you're trying to contain, but you're sometimes kind of caught between attacking and defending. And also, if a team gets going, you just kind of go into defense mode, and you resign yourself to the fact that it's a nice pitch, and therefore you expect there'll be runs and so on and so forth. But what you should actually be defending, you don't know. What you should kind of be limiting them to. Of course, you'll say, "Oh, as little as possible," but you need a sort of marker, I think. And so the needle has shifted. This is what I'm saying. That from now on, I think that you don't want to give away the toss. I don't think you want to give away the freedom of batting without a target. I think you've got to back your skills in assessing the conditions on the day, assessing what the pitch might do, what it will allow, and therefore where you need to get to in terms of the number of runs you need to get. It still requires a couple of overs where you actually check that you've assessed correctly without a ball being bowled. Then, and over here and over there, then you work out, okay, we can go here, and rather the aggressive option than not, put bowlers under pressure who are bowling first up, and you probably win more games than you lose. And if teams go that way, I think, yeah, it'll become more and more difficult for the teams batting second. Of course, you've got to bear in mind conditions. So some of the time you'll turn up and there'll be dew, and these teams go and practice the day before, so they know if there's dew. Even if they don't go and practice and games are coming thick and fast, they will send their spies to go off to the ground and have a look at what conditions are like at the time that they will be playing. So whenever second innings is going to start, you've got to know that it's information you crucially require in order to make a decision at the toss the next day. And if there is no dew, bat first. Put runs on the board. Let the pressure of the scoreboard be the one that gets you, and how good your bowlers are when they've got a framework to work with, and they can therefore sort of allow for, okay, it's okay to go for 8, but not so much for 9. It's okay to go for 10, but not so much for 12, because they have this framework that they have, and they can work within it, and thereby push up a run rate, use the scoreboard, and in the end come out on top, and you defend scores. Maybe as time goes by, yes, we're just over halfway in terms of IPL 2023, but maybe as time goes by, when we get closer and closer to those playoffs, maybe teams work it out as well, whether it's the bowlers that bowl that much better, or it's the batters chasing that figure out how it is they can go about it as well. Then maybe there'll be a shift, and we go back again to chasing being the goal. But for now, I don't think so. I think the goal is bat first. Don't give away that toss. I wonder what you guys think. Let me know. Okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep chatting here. Come on over and let's have a chit chat. Bye for now.